Yeah. Okay. Did you hit record on it?
I did. I hit
Okay.
record on it again.
All right. So
Yeah.
back to the lore of dark magic.
I feel okay. I've been speaking up anyway. So. Yeah, the dark magic lore.
Dark magic lore, just like high magic that the lizardmen got and the high elves already have. It's the they have 2 signatures, which is pretty nice because they're both very good.
Right.
Yeah, Power of Darkness is the first one. It's cast on an 8+. This is a very nice one. It's an augment spell. And it'll give you your unit +1 bonus to their strength. But there's a kicker. Assuming as it goes off, you add another D3 power dice back to your power pool. But on a 3, if you roll a 5 or a 6 for the D3, then your wizard takes a wound with no armor saves allowed.
Right.
So you can technically just cast this on 2 dice and have a good chance of getting 2 dice back, or getting 3 back and taking a wound. But if you have a ward save, of course you can ward it as well.
It increases your strength as well. Is that what it does?
Yeah, it's just a strength buffer with a chance of power dice. A lot of people will throw dice to dispel this because you're getting more power dice. It's just a free +1 strength.
Yeah, it is a free +1 strength. Now, personally, I probably wouldn't dispel it because it has like more than average potential to
Wound the wizard.
Yeah, to wound the wizard, or if he's using 2 dice to cast it, to only give him 1, so it would just cost 1 for him. And +1 strength to elves, like the ones that are strength 6, it's not gonna really make too much of a difference. And the ones that are weak strength, maybe you might want to get rid of it.
Yeah, assuming they're in combat. Like, for a couple turns, you're not going to...
Yeah, for the majority of the time, like, you're going to want to dispel it when it's actually going to be a major benefit, but if he's trying to cast it just to get dice, then you could probably just let it go off, because the +1 strength is not going to be that big of a deal. And the thing is, if he's trying to cast this with a level 4 wizard, he will get +5 to cast it, and it's an 8+, so he would only have to roll a dice and get anything but a 1 or a 2, but if he gets that 1 or a 2, then his magic phase ends.
Yeah. So there's that. I like
or
it.
at least
It's
his
a
magic
nice
phase
spell.
ends for that wizard.
It's a nice augment, and you get free power dice back.
Yeah, it's not...
And it will bait out people's dispel dice.
It's not useless, but I think that smart people will let it go off more often than not. And you can potentially kill your wizards with it.
Potentially.
I think you get a ward save against that wound.
Yes, you do. It's just no armor saves.
Okay, so...
Not that the wizards have armor anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, Doombolt is their other signature. This is just like Soul Quench of the other book, except it's strength 5.
It's 18-inch range, right?
Yeah, it's still an 18-inch range.
And boosted, it's still 18?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still 18. So it's cast on a 12+ instead of an 8, which is the Soul Quench. But so that's 4 more. But it's the strength 5. It's 2d6 strength 5 hits magic missile. Boosted, it's 24 to cast, but it's 46 strength 5 hits.
Yeah, so it is just a higher strength Soul Quench, and it's harder to cast. But that's good. Soul Quench in and of itself is already good.
Yeah, and strength 5 just makes it better.
Yeah, it does. It does make it difficult to cast, though. So if you're going to be actually attempting to cast it, you're going to want a higher level wizard or more dice.
Yeah, like 3 dice reliably, 2 dice if you're feeling riskier.
Is that 3 dice with the level 4?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's if you're rolling terrible too.
Is that for boosting?
No, not boosting.
just
Boosting you would need a bit more.
Yeah, what is it boosted?
Boosted is 24.
Oh,
it doubles.
Yeah. That's a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely an all or nothing if you boost it.
But that's pretty much a comet drop.
Yeah.
Actually, that's more than a comet drop.
Yeah, 46 strength 5 hits is nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, that's pretty damn good.
Alright, next spell. A cheap spell this time, 5+.
5+, yeah.
It's a Chill Wind. It's a magic missile with a range of 24 inches that causes 2d6 strength 2 hits. So, weak magic missile, but if the target suffers any unsaved wounds, all models in the unit suffer a -1 penalty to their ballistic skill until the start of the next caster phase.
Okay, yeah. It's 2d6 strength 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like the little log from the... orcs, and I think even the lore of beasts have a 2d6 strength 2 with a 5+ cast, and they don't get the negative to your weapon skill. So I mean, it's
just flat out better than some of the battle lore stuff.
Yeah, I like how. I don't know if they did this before. They probably did. I just didn't play Dark Elves or read their book before. But all of the spells in the lore of Dark Magic are abilities that the sorcerers had in Warhammer Online.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they probably just took they probably just took the abilities in Warhammer Online. Like, they probably just
let's
took the
put
names
these
from
in
the lore.
here.
Well, the Warhammer Online probably took the names, but I like it.
Yeah, and
because Word of Pain is the next one.
Yeah, Word of Pain. This is actually a good one. You will always want to boost this, and this is why. It's a hex spell. All models in the 24-inch range. All models in the target unit suffer D3 to their weapon skill and their ballistic skill, -D3.
Right.
So it's like, less weapon skill and ballistic skill. And if you boost it, it also gives a D3 penalty to their strength and initiative. That is a bigger thing.
Yeah. With your entire army being toughness 3, except for the good units, you would like to reduce your enemy's strength. It's always good to reduce your enemy's strength, even if he has redundant strength 7 Kroxigars. Reducing their strength by 3, D3.
Yeah.
Yeah, so reducing it by 3 would give them a strength 4, with their stomps being strength 1.
Yeah.
So it's a significant debuff on anybody.
Yeah, and I mean, it's only 12 plus as opposed to the 9 plus. You always want to boost it.
Yeah, 12 plus boosted. Is it remains in play or just a hex?
It's just a hex.
Okay, so it's not quite as good as like the all-out just strength debuff in the Lore of Shadow because it's remains in play, but that is still like it is a benefit. Your opponent can't dispel it during his turn.
Yeah.
So there's that.
And of course, it makes initiative tests better. There's actually a strength test in here, which we'll get to, but there's that as well. So you pretty much always want to boost it. -3 strength potentially is very, very good.
Yeah, it's super good.
And
with the negative to weapon skill.
Yeah.
It makes it harder.
You're still hitting on 3s.
It's pretty much the survivability spell for Dark Elves, because if you cast it on a unit that's in close combat, and let's say it has average stats, like a human, you reduce their an average of 2, so a usual human is now weapon skill 1, strength of 1, and so he will hit your elves on 5s and wound them on 6s.
Yeah,
so
which is pretty sad.
Yeah.
And next spell, Blade Wind. It's cast on a 9 plus. It's a direct damage spell with a range of 24 inches. Every model in the target unit must pass a weapon skill test or suffer strength 4 hit with the armor piercing rule. That's weapon skill test.
Yeah. Zombies terrified of this spell right here. It's weapon skill 1 zombies would be like, okay, so
yeah, it's every model.
Every model.
Oh, good God. Yeah.
At least it's not an instant kill. It is strength 4 hit. So strength 4 armor saving hit, armor penetrating.
Yeah,
hit.
armor piercing.
So that would actually be strength 4 minus 2 then.
Again, Word of Pain is good because it reduces their weapon skill. It synergizes with this.
Yeah. And that's you can reduce their weapon skill without having to boost Word of Pain, so it would only be a 9 plus cast then.
Yeah, if
that's
you
what
really
you're going
only
for.
had a couple dice, or 1 dice even, with a high-level wizard. And, alright, Shrouded Despair is the next one, cast on a 10 plus. It's a hex spell, targets all enemy units within 12 inches, everything within 12 inches of your caster.
Right.
Until the start of the caster's next magic phase, the targets cannot benefit from Hold Your Ground or Inspiring Presence. In addition, whenever a target unit fails a leadership test of any kind, all units that were hexed suffer a -1 to their leadership. So you can cause like a really nasty chain panic test with this.
Yeah, it's part of the fear bombing thing that you can actually do. I don't know how valid it could be. It depends. Like if you stacked up everything, it could be pretty nasty, especially when people start failing leadership tests. Then everybody starts getting the negative to the leadership.
Yeah, it's nice for dealing with those low leadership tar pits like Skaven slaves, goblins
that don't have a character in the unit.
Yeah, because then they don't get their inspiring presence, and they just have to deal with their leadership.
Yeah, clan rats that are steadfast on a leadership of 5, not that big of a deal.
Not really.
But the thing is about bubble auras that are 12 inches is always about positioning.
Mm-hmm.
And so you'll have a difficult time getting a wizard into a perfect position in order to use this, unless they are flying or have some other kind of movement. And there's no walk between the worlds for the Dark Elves.
Yeah, and I mean, every wizard in this book is going to be barely any armor at all. Like,
yeah, well, they don't have any armor. You can get a 4+ ward like any wizard can.
Yeah, true.
But they have that potential of wounding themselves from like casting the other stuff, and so like they are pretty squishy. But they could ride Pegasus, so they can get flying without having to pay a magic item for it, and they have a significantly good defensive item that they could take if you really wanted to do that.
Yeah. They have. We'll get to the items later, but this next spell can kind of deal with the fact that you have a squishy wizard. It's called Soul Stealer. It is a cast on 11 plus. It's a direct damage spell. Place a small round template anywhere within 18 inches of wizard, so decent range. Then scatters d6. All models hit by the template suffer a strength 2 hit with no armor saves allowed. That's not bad.
Yeah.
Here's the kicker. Roll a d6 for each unsaved wound inflicted by Soul Stealer. For each roll of 4+, the caster immediately gains a single wound up to a maximum of 10.
Yeah, and with it specifically saying up to a maximum of 10, you can get your characters over their starting wounds, because there is no character in that book that has more than 4 wounds.
Yeah, so you can have a 10 wound little level 2 wizard if you really wanted to, if they got this spell
if you manage to get that spell off and if it damaged stuff. The thing about it is that most spells that will do stuff like this, like give you additional wounds or restore wounds, will generally only do it on like 6s. Like if you think of the Lore of Death, when it does damage, you get power dice on 6s, or you can get bonus Nurgle demons and stuff like that when you
Yeah.
cast stuff in the spell lores on like 5s and 6s and stuff like that. This is a 4+. So it's pretty reliable.
Yeah.
You point it at the right unit, you can get yourself a lot of wounds.
Yeah, and I mean, one thing I just noticed, when you boost it, it goes up double the range, 36 inches, but it doesn't scatter the 2d6, and it's only a 14+. That only goes up by 3.
It's not a large template, though, when you boost it, is it?
Yeah, it's okay. It boosts the range, and the casting value goes up a little bit. But
it's a range booster. It's
if
not an actual large template.
Yeah, if you roll it through like a weak unit, anything toughness 3, then you can gain all your wounds back. But if you want to,
does it ignore or is it armor?
It ignores armor.
Yeah, since it ignores armor, you can point it at whatever you want.
You pretty much whatever you want. If you want lots of wounds, get a big blob of weak
you'll
things.
consistently be wounding on 6s against like most elite infantry, but you can still point it at like Temple Guard or
Juggernauts.
Well, you'd only get,
I would laugh.
you would only get a potential of 3 wounds there.
Yeah.
You get 3 hits, so like you wouldn't bother with that.
Yeah, I believe, it's hit by the template too. So the scatter, like anything it passes over, pretty much.
No, it's
just hit by the template.
Yeah, it's hit by the template. It's not a vortex. Which
all right.
is their next thing, right? They have a vortex.
Yeah, it's a next one is a magical vortex. It's a 15+, remains in play. It's a magical vortex that uses a small round template. Once the template is placed,
it's a standard vortex that's a strength test. Yeah, they have a strength text vortex.
Yeah, it really is just your standard template. Works like every other vortex, and it must pass a strength test or be slain outright with no armor saves allowed.
Yeah.
A model may take a single ward save.
A model may take a single ward save?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
If it has one.
So they can take ward saves. So it's they could take ward saves, but it is a slain outright. So that's the difference between the vortexes are a little bit different. Sometimes when you fail the save, you take a wound with no armor save allowed.
Yeah.
But you can still take a ward. Some of them you can not take a ward at all, and the model is slain outright. Some of them, it's just the wound and stuff. So it's a slain outright, but they still get the ward.
Yeah.
And it's a strength test, which is The thing about it is that your army has a consistently average to low strength.
Yeah, and of course, if you roll on the artillery dice and you get a misfire, that goes right on top of your wizard.
Yeah, and it's a vortex, so it will be uncontrollable after you cast it. So for Dark Elves, you probably want to replace that with one of your signatures.
Probably.
Because
you get 2 signatures, they're both amazing.
Yeah,
so, yeah,
most other people will pass that test better than you will. So
yeah, it's risky, but I mean, if you really want a vortex, honestly, just go with the other one, the weapon skill test for every model. It's just a better idea.
It guarantees you hits on the whole unit.
Yeah.
If they fail their tests. I mean, like it's a test on the whole unit, and you can bomb that weapon skill test. It's not a guaranteed wound, so it's not as good. But it's still it's a handgun shot, strength 4, -2 armor saves. That's pretty damn good. Even Chaos Warriors won't like that.
Yeah, and that is the Lord Dark Magic. So we'll go back to heroes here since we were working on units.
Well, let's go to magic items.
Oh yeah, heroes can take magic items. That makes sense.
So magic items. These are actually they have some good, some pretty damn decent, and some okay.
Yeah, there's nothing in here that's just flat out bad. Never take though. Well, actually, I would say the banner is.
I probably wouldn't take the 100-point sword.
It's funny. I like it.
The 100-point sword is interesting, and you could theoretically make it worth it, but I would not suggest it.
100 points. Hydra Blade. The wielder of the Hydra Blade it's worded weird. Has the random attacks D6 plus A special roll. It's your attacks plus D6.
Your attacks plus D6 to a maximum of 10.
Where A is the attacks characteristics of the wielder. In addition, at the start of any round of close combat in which the bearer will fight, he must take a leadership test with a -2 modifier before striking any blows. If the test is passed, nothing extra happens. You still get those D6 hits. If the test is failed, the wielder suffers a -5 penalty to weapon skill to a minimum of 1, but gains the hero killing blow special roll until the end of the round. You still get your D6 attacks.
Yeah, so most people that can carry this thing will be weapon skill 7, so when you get them -5, you'll be at a weapon skill of 2, which can make you hit on 5s upon occasion, especially against characters.
Yeah.
But you're an elf, so you'll probably get to re-roll that, because your initiative is like 1,000,000,000 and you always strike first.
Yeah, exactly.
So the thing is about this weapon is you kind of want to fail that leadership test, because heroic killing blow is awesome.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's only the plus D6 attacks. It doesn't give you any benefits for your strength or armor penetration, which means that you really want to fail that leadership test. And your leadership doesn't suck enough to consistently fail it, even with the -2.
I think it's 9 on a Dreadlord. So, I mean, you'll be rolling on 7s.
Dreadlords are 10.
Are they?
Yeah, your lords are 10. Because your base is infantry is 8.
You did joke about putting it on a wizard earlier, that's right.
Yeah, you could put it on a wizard so that you'd have the d6 additional attacks and he'd more consistently
they're
fail
leadership 10, so yeah, it's fail on an 8, but I mean, if you do fail, you have hero killing blow, and you can go murder a, demon prince if you want.
You could put that caster on a Dark Pegasus and give him Lore of Beasts as well.
There you go. You're set.
Your melee caster can take
You got
the
your
sword,
battle mage.
except for the fact that he will be paper thin with toughness 3, 3 wounds, and nothing to save him. 6+ armor save because he's riding a mount.
Yeah.
100 points of sword in my hand. That's all I got.
Believe it.
I better get that toughness 3 increase and cast it every single turn.
Yeah.
And you'll still die to fucking poison attacks.
Yeah, next one, another weapon, the Chill Blade for 50 points. Attacks made with the Chill Blade wound automatically. You don't have to roll to hit. You pretty much hit everything anyway, so that's almost redundant.
Yeah.
Any model that suffers 1 or more unsaved wounds from the Chill Blade must immediately pass a toughness test or suffer -3 to its attack characteristics, minimum of 1 until the end of the close combat phase.
So it automatically wounds? Yeah.
Yeah, automatically hits. Or wound automatically.
Yeah, it wounds automatically. It's a partial Rune Fang from the Empire list. Not having to roll a wound is nice, especially because, you're
low strength.
you're strength 4 elf, so not rolling the wound is not bad. But you don't want to point that character with the blade anywhere near something with an armor save.
Yeah, because they'll just save it and no issues there. But I mean,
if you point him towards a monster, that's what it's for.
Yeah, pretty much.
You're pointing him towards stuff that's high toughness with no armor save, because he's only got a -1 to whatever he's swinging at.
Yeah, it's also 10 times more expensive than that same blade, that negative attack.
It's only a -1 attack for that blade, though.
Yeah,
and the thing is, the thing about it is, you want to point him towards a monster to give him the negative attacks and the fact that it wounds automatically, but monsters will have consistently high toughness, and so they'll pass that toughness test easy.
Yeah.
And so it's not that great of a weapon. It's not useless, but it's not recommended. And
not really worth the points.
Yeah, for a hero, it's your whole allotment. So that's it.
Yeah.
And then what you got? Oh, this one I like.
Yeah. Next one's the Black Dragon Egg. It's like a potion. It's one use only.
Yeah. It's enchanted item, so same.
Yeah, you can consume it, and for the rest of that turn, the consumer has Strength and Toughness 6 and a Strength 2 breath weapon with no armor saves allowed.
Yeah, breath weapons are already really expensive points-wise anyways, so Strength 2, no armor saves, that's pretty damn nice. This is a challenge potion, is what it is. Absolutely. It's your full allotment for a hero, but it will literally double your toughness for all of your characters that can take it.
And will give you an extra 2 strength, not counting the weapon.
Yeah, Strength 6, Strength 6 is awesome. So Strength 6 is where you want to be for armor penetration and for wounding. So Strength 6 with the Toughness 6 and a breath weapon at your initiative.
Yeah, it makes you a monster on an infantry base, pretty much.
Yeah, without the stomps and all that. But it's a one-turn thing, so it is for challenges. Yeah. Essentially, and you can use it at the start of combat, can't you?
No, it's start of the turn, just like any of the potions.
Yeah, I'm not too fond of that.
Because you have to remember to use it.
Yeah, it is still your full hero allotment, but it's actually worth it. You could take it on your BSB because you can get a 1+ armor save for your BSB if he's on a cold one, no problem.
Yeah.
So he's a 1+ armor save, and he's wandering around. It's just like, oh, I'll charge into something, and
I'll charge into something.
I'll charge into some enemy cavalry with my. Toughness 6, Strength 6. With a lance, I'd be Strength 8 on the charge.
Yeah.
With all that.
Yeah. And next one. This one I really, really like. It's a Cloak of Twilight. It is a 50-point item.
Oh, yeah.
This is a very good one. Cloak of Twilight has a 3+ ward save against wounds caused by shooting attacks and spells. Anything ranged, you get a 3+ ward against it. Furthermore, in the first round of any close combat, the wearer of the Cloak of Twilight has both Killing Blow and Multi-Wounds D3. Yeah,
again, another full allotment. They have 3 things that are the same points cost, and they're all, what a hero can take. This is just this is my item, that's all I got.
Yeah.
But this one is absolutely worth it for certain characters. With the benefit to, the 3+ ward from shooting and magic, you don't have to worry about putting him in a unit or lookout sirs at all. You can actually make him a damage-soaked guy.
Yeah, they can easily get a 1-up armor save, 3+ against any shooting. You can throw him on a Pegasus and have him run around killing whatever he wants.
That's the strategy, is you put him on a Pegasus so that the hero has 3 wounds rather than 2, and he's toughness 4, because Pegasus is 4. So he'll have a higher toughness, have 3 wounds, a 3+ ward against things shooting at him, and you give him a lance, and when he charges, he will be Strength 6, D3 wounds, Killing Blow.
Yeah, which is nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, absolutely great flanker and... monster killer. I take Pegasus on... I take a hero riding a Pegasus often with the Empire, doing the same thing, and he would do it better.
Just flat out better.
Yeah.
Next one, Black Amulet. Won't fit on a hero, but here's what it does. Where the Black Amulet has a 4+ ward save, so it's your regular 4+ ward save, except more expensive. Each time the bearer of the Black Amulet makes a successful ward save while fighting in a challenge, so only while fighting in a challenge, the Black Amulet inflicts 1 wound on the bearer's opponent. Armor saves cannot be taken against wounds caused by the Black Amulet. So it's just, you take a wound back if I make a ward save, and you just take no armor saves.
It's another 4+ ward, so that the Dark Elves can actually get 3 4+ ward items, the 2 from the common, and then the 1 they have here.
Yeah.
And this one's actually pretty much worth it. They have benefits for challenging. There's a lord that has a benefit for challenging, but he actually can't take it because they have a lord that can only take a hero's allotment of magic items, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, it's a bit odd.
But this, you would absolutely take this and then the +2 strength sword, so that you'd be an elf striking at strength 6 with your ASF and rerolling bullshit. And you would still have your 4+ ward, and you challenge anything that comes across you, because if an attack bounces off that ward, you get more damage.
Yeah, and if it's chaos, well, they can't refuse, so you can just kill chaos with this because they don't get an armor save.
There's a lot of challenge heroes that just can't refuse. So.
But yeah, it's a nice item. I would take it.
Yeah,
I could.
That was what I would take on my lord. If I had a combat lord, he would have the Black Amulet and the +2 strength sword, and he'd be done. I'd still have a fucking 2+ armor save.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, you could have a 1-up if you really wanted to. But next item, Ring of Hotek, again takes up the entire allotment of a hero, and bear has magic resistance 3, so it's only 5 points more than magic resistance 3 regular. Yeah. And in addition, any enemy wizard that attempts to cast or target a spell on a unit within 6 inches. So if there's a wizard within 6 inches of you that's casting, or casting on a unit within 6 inches of you, bear will suffer a miscast on a roll of a double 1 as well as a double kiss. Or that double 6.
Double 6, yeah.
Miscast caused by a roll of a double 1 do not benefit from irresistible force.
Yeah, there's a few things that you can do with it. I'm not personally a fan of this, because all it really does is it turns it back in addition. It's just like, oh, you miscast on double 1. You're like, well, I'm used to that. So I mean, there's that. But the thing is, with it being wizards within 6 inches, as well as units like that it targets within 6 inches, you can actually walk up to your opponent's worst caster and just stick to him. And just be like, not touching, can't get mad. You miscast on a double 1.
Yeah, it's nasty. I mean, it adds that extra chance of a miscast, and I mean, it has a good chance because it's miscasting that you'll lose power dice. Maybe you get sucked into the warp. You know?
I honestly wish it was. If I was going to use it, I would prefer if it didn't have the magic resist 3. I would prefer if it was
if it was just the
item.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the extra 5 points. Just a 5-point magic, I'd take it.
Yeah.
But it's not. And so with magic resist, you want the person to be in a unit, so you won't have that character on like a Pegasus just like walk up to his land and be like, oh.
I would put it on a cheap character though, and then just sit him in the executioner since they only have that 5-up armor save. They're gonna be the unit you want to hoard anyway.
Yeah,
so
they're gonna be like,
oh, it's scary. Put hexes and stuff on it. It's like, well, you're miscasting on a double 1 too.
Yeah, it would work against hexes as well. There is that because the magic resist does shit all for you against hexes.
Yeah. So it has its uses.
It's kind of expensive.
Yeah.
I prefer magic resist too, but that's generally just because I play Empire and I get it for almost free. Witch hunters for the win. All right, so what else we got?
So next one is the 100-point banner.
Oh yeah, I don't even know what they're doing.
All models in the unit carrying the banner have the Unbreakable special rule.
Oh, right, yeah.
As do Alithanar, any Shadow Warriors, and any Shadow Walkers, which are all High Elf units.
Yeah, they're all High Elf units.
Within 12 inches of the banner. So it's like, you get Unbreakable.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
It's just a straight up 100 points, you get Unbreakable?
Yeah, pretty
much.
They
actually have a few ways to get Unbreakable in the Dark Elf army.
For cheaper.
Yeah, well...
Kind
of. That one's the most reliable, obviously.
Yeah.
Because you can still get a 2+ armor save BSB with that 100 points. But I mean, that's 100 points.
Yeah.
Unbreakable, it can't be underestimated, obviously. Unbreakable is amazing. But since it's on the toughness 3, 2+ armor save BSB, I mean, he'll just die.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's always a problem trying to keep your BSB alive. But...
yeah, pretty much. It's like, I wouldn't take it personally, pretty much in any situation. Really.
Yeah, they have other ways to get Unbreakable, which is rare. I mean, like, Unbreakable units, there are armies that just don't have Unbreakable units. So,
yeah.
I mean... Unbreakable's not bad.
Yeah, Unbreakable's not bad, but it's costly, pretty much as the verdict.
And as long as you win combat, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, just win combat, then you don't have to worry about it.
What else is there?
Alright, Gem of Spite. It is a 35-point item. Whenever the bearer suffers a miscast, that's right, whenever you, the wearer of this item, suffers a miscast, the Gem of Spite inflicts a single Strength 6 hit on every enemy wizard within 12 inches, so you have to be pretty close to other wizards. Each time a wound is caused by the Gem of Spite, your opponent can discard a dice from his Dispel pool. If they do so, the wound is negated and has no effect.
Yeah.
Nah. Run your wizard to within 12 inches of theirs and then forcefully try and miscast yourself? I don't really think so.
It's an arcane item. Yeah, so I mean, like, you have such terrible choices for arcane items in this edition. It's just like, Dispel Scroll.
Yeah, well, I mean, the next two are arcane items and are significantly better.
Oh.
So we'll go with them. 25 points, the Sacrificial Dagger does what it always does. It's every casting attempt after the casting dice are rolled, so suddenly, oh no, I didn't get my spell off, not enough power. You can choose to sacrifice a guy in the same unit, and on a 4+, you get another power dice added to that.
Yeah, is that after you
Yes, after the casting dice
once
are rolled.
per casting attempt, okay.
Yeah, but it says you can do it as many times. At the bottom,
okay.
It's pretty...
So it's once per casting attempt. Yeah, they've had that for a while.
Yeah.
I think before they just... actually, I think that's pretty much the same way they always work. They may have changed it, I don't know. I didn't play Dark Elves.
Well, they changed it in the fact that you have to roll a 4 up to actually get the power dice now.
Whereas before it was free?
Yeah, before you just stabbed a guy, you got a power dice.
Okay.
So now
so
you
at
have
least
to...
you don't always get it.
If you're really unlucky, you can like take out 2 ranks just trying to get this extra power dice.
Can you take out more than one?
Yes, it says once per casting attempt, but then at the end, you can either immediately sacrifice another model from the unit and roll again, following the procedure above, or accept the original casting result. So you can just do it as many times as you want per casting attempt.
It must be rolled and added to the cast.
I don't know why they even say once per casting attempt when it's obviously not once per casting attempt.
Sacrifice. So can you only get 1 dice from it though?
That's
or can you,
probably what they think.
Yeah, you can only
only
go
get
through
an additional d6
yes,
from it. That must be rolled immediately. It doesn't add to your power pool. It just adds to that casting attempt.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a nice item. I would take it if you're throwing your sorceress in a cheap bunker. Then you can stab some guys to get those extra dice.
Oh yeah, and this one, which is pretty standard.
Last item.
It's half. It's half of your hero allotment.
Yeah, Tome of Furion.
Can't get a 4+ ward with it.
It's pretty basic, but it's pretty good too. When the bearer of the Tome of Furion generates spells from the lore of dark magic, so this only works for their dark magic lore, she can choose 1 spell. The rest must be generated with the following rules. So even if you have a level 2 wizard, you're just like, I need this spell, and you just choose that one, and then you roll for the other one.
Well, basic, this is actually I would say one of the best arcane items there is in the game at the moment, because arcane items are really lackluster this edition, and this is just a straight out choose a spell, which they have been really shy about giving anybody besides lore masters.
Yeah.
So it's good. It is absolutely worth taking.
If you really need a certain spell from dark magic, absolutely take this thing.
I'd say take it always anyway, because consistency in your army is the best thing ever.
It replaces your Dispel Scroll, but I mean, yeah,
whatever.
it is another.
It actually gives you something to give another level 2 wizard. If you take more than 1 wizard, you can take another magic item.
You can take 3 and have the dagger too, but you don't really want to overkill that. And now we're moving on to heroes then.
Yeah, they have quite a lot of fancy heroes and lords, even outside of their named characters.
Yeah, we'll just do the base characters first, and then we'll do the special crap later.
Yeah, and might as well just start with the Witch Elf, because they're the ones that actually, like, the Witch Elf special character, or you wanted to start with the base
just the base characters. Yeah, just the base characters. So we have just your sorceress. It's a level 2 wizard, or a level 1 wizard. It's a bit more expensive than your average wizard. Just because she's an elf. Yeah, because she's an elf. She's a bit more expensive than your regular level 1 wizard, and of course level 2 costs 35 points. Yeah,
you do get the +1 to casting dark magic, so like most of the time, the reason that you pay extra points is because they have better stats than like everybody else. But you're not just paying for the stats, which I'll almost never use because you want to keep them out of combat. You also get the +1 to cast.
Yeah, you get that +1 to cast dark magic. And she can ride a dark steed, a cold one, which will give you the +2 armor save, or a Pegasus if you want to fly around and get shot at all day.
And give her toughness 4 if she's on a cold one.
Yeah, true.
Not she wouldn't be able to get lookouts or rolls for infantry though. But
yeah,
get shot
but
to
it's certainly an option, and they aren't expensive options either. In fact, they're much cheaper than when they're in the Lizardman army, which kind of
they're actually reasonable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Saurus are kind of
they're
beastly.
half the points, less than half the points.
Saurus are kind of beastly.
Yeah,
and
true.
Like we were saying before, they can take all 8 lores of magic, which is pretty damn awesome.
Yeah.
Because that means Shadow. They probably could have taken Shadow before anyway.
Yeah,
but
they
Shadow is
could
just so
take
good.
Shadow before, but it was like Shadow, Death, Fire, and a couple of things.
Yeah, so take what you want. I mean,
take what you want.
everybody has a personal preference.
Have a light Dark Elf.
You probably don't need light magic. Weapon skill 10, initiative 10 is kind of redundant, and it always strikes first armor.
Yeah.
It's like, always strikes first. I hit you a lot. It changed nothing. I against a human, initiative 10, weapon skill 10, you get that spell off on an elf, they're like, alright, so I'm hitting on 3s, re-rolling.
Just as usual.
I attack first.
Damn it.
Nothing has changed.
And now we're moving on to Master. This is just your basic hero. It's just a Darth Elf.
Darth Elf.
Yeah, Darth Elf.
Darth Elf.
Darth Elf hero. It's just your basic hero. So
he can take a Sea Dragon Cloak, though. Which is what can get them to 2+ armor save on foot.
Yeah, this is the nice thing. So they start with hand weapon and light armor, but you can upgrade the light armor to heavy. You can give him a shield, and you can give him a Sea Dragon Cloak. So Sea Dragon 5+, heavy armor gives them to 3+, and then the shield for 2+.
Yeah, 2+. If you want to
just
additional hand weapon that shit, if you want to, and you can be a 3+ armor save. It's better than a Chaos Warrior can ever get while wielding a great weapon.
And it only costs you just over 10 points to get a 2-up armor save on this guy, on foot.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's only like, he's not that much more expensive than like anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, you can give him additional hand weapon, halberd, great weapon, or lance. Yeah. I would personally try to stick to great weapons and lances because he's only strength 4.
Yeah, if you give him the great weapon, he will not be able to reroll his hits.
Yeah,
because you lose the ASF. But he's still initiative 7.
The initiative 7.
Yeah,
he
weapon
will be
skill
fine.
Weapon skill 6, ballistic skill 6.
Yeah, you can
7.
give him a repeater crossbow, repeater handbow, or a brace of repeater handbows, which is fun.
Entertaining.
It's only one of the following.
Are those repeater handbows quick to fire? We didn't check that.
Yes, they are. The handbows and the dual handbows are quick to fire.
So there's at least that. I mean, you can always stand and shoot with it.
Yeah, and I mean, he can have that and his close combat weapon, whatever he wants.
I would actually give your flying hero. I don't think they probably can. You could probably give them do 2 repeater handbows. It's just like anytime I return, I'm not charging. I'm shooting by 4 shots.
Pretty much.
Why not?
No, why not? What else can he do? Yeah. Oh yeah, mounts.
Yeah, they have a lot of options.
A lot of options. Dark Steed, which is just their regular horses. Cold One, the Raptors, Dark Pegasus, a Manticore.
Well, the Dark Steed, he says it's a regular elf horse, so it's a movement 9 horse.
It's a movement 9 horse. Yeah. We didn't really go over the monsters because they aren't really listed in here. Only as mounts.
They'll be as part of the mounts. Yeah.
Yeah. So Manticore, it actually it has upgrades now.
Yeah. Let's go to that.
Yeah, the Manticore has 2 different upgrades. One is a 4+ scaly skin. Yes. Pretty much always want that.
Yeah. Unlike the Chimera for the Chaos Warriors, it can't get regen. And it's only it's toughness 5 with 4 wounds.
I believe it is toughness 5 with 4 wounds. Manticore is toughness 5 with 4 wounds.
Yeah, it's weapon skill 5, initiative 5, which is pretty high, but it's only got 4 attacks.
Yeah, and it has.
And it's only strength 5.
It has a rule that kind of helps that, but I wouldn't take it. And it has its own rule that you don't have to upgrade at all.
Yeah,
uncontrollable. At the start of each friendly turn, a model riding a Manticore must take a leadership test. If the test is failed, the Manticore and its rider are subject to frenzy until the start of their next turn. Also, should a Manticore's rider be slain, the Manticore does not take a monster reaction test. Instead, it automatically affected by the Roarg monster reaction rule.
Yeah, I believe that's the one that makes it charge like a
Yeah, probably just frenzy charge and blah blah blah.
Yeah, the thing about the Manticore is like, with the upgrade and the 4+ scaly skin, it's toughness 5 with 4 wounds, and it costs about the same amount as a Hydra, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just less than a Hydra, and that's without any of the upgrades. Like, you definitely would want that, and that would make it more expensive.
Yeah, without the breath weapon on the Hydra, but still, it's another leadership test that you want to fail.
Yeah.
Because you would need a double leadership test to gain frenzy and then charge something you didn't want to charge.
Yeah, exactly.
So you want to fail the first test and pass the second one.
Yeah.
It's also weird.
And I mean, it can fly.
Yeah, it can obviously fly, but it's toughness 5 with 4 wounds. It's gonna get shot out from under you, and it's not that cheap. It's like a griffin. At least it can get a scaly skin. My griffins fucking suck. They can't get scaly skin, and I won't take it.
And the other upgrade it can, because it only has the 4 attacks, but it has Blind Rage. Manticore with this upgrade has D3 attacks, D3 extra attacks. However, all enemies attacking the Manticore in close combat receive a +1 bonus to hit.
Yeah, that's not so great.
You don't really want that.
You don't want that at all. It has a high weapon skill base. Like, it's got a 5 weapon skill base. So most people will be hitting it on 4s. With that upgrade, it'll make them hit on 3s. But he's toughness 5. I mean, even regular guys will kill him with hitting them on 3s.
Yeah, that scaly skin alone is not going to save him.
Yeah, and so it seemed more like a detriment than a benefit.
Yeah, I would never buy that ever, pretty much.
Yeah, and I wouldn't take a Manticore. They're too squishy for their points.
Last thing he could be mounted on is a Cold One Chariot.
Yeah! Cold One Chariots are fucking awesome.
It's actually slightly more expensive than when you just take the Chariot base and he replaces one of the crew.
Well,
But
they have the same leadership too, which is weird.
Yeah, it makes him a bit tougher. He'll have the extra armor save and the ridiculous amount of wounds. Well, they can knock him off of it.
They hit him separate.
Yeah, that's right.
If you're shooting at him, it essentially gives him like a 4+ war.
I probably wouldn't take it
3+ war.
in that case. Then I would leave him in a unit because it's more expensive than just getting another Cold One Chariot.
Yeah.
If you really want to have like an army of Cold One Chariots, yeah, go for it.
It's not that much more
It's not much more expensive. It's 5 points more expensive.
It's not that bad. What else he's...
That's it. That's all his...
He can ride a Pegasus, obviously.
Yeah, I did mention the Pegasus.
Yeah, the thing about their Pegasuses... They're Pegasi. They get +1 strength on the charge. So they're a little bit more expensive than most other people's Pegasus. And they are better, because the +1 strength on the charge, so...
Yeah. And moving on to Death Hag, which is the Witch Elf hero.
Yeah, the thing that you will only ever see on a Cauldron of Blood.
Pretty much. So
she could take magic weapons, right? But not armor.
Yeah, she could take 50 points of magic weapons, but no armor. She is always completely naked.
Toughness 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, but they have 3 little special rules, which I'll go over, that they can choose to bring on, and they can be mounted on the Cauldron of Blood, which is really what
Can they get all 3 of those benefits?
No, only the Lord can.
Yeah, they have to choose one?
Yeah, they have to choose one. Or, yeah, I think they pay... Yeah, may take one of the following.
Yeah.
And they aren't super cheap either.
Yeah, they are. Well, yeah, they're pretty expensive.
And they aren't amazing, but here they are. The Cry of War model has the Fear special rule. In addition, all fear tests taken by enemy units in base contact with this model must be taken with a -3 penalty to leadership. I would go for that one sometimes. It is the cheapest one, and with your leadership shenanigans and no inspiring presence and all that good stuff, you'll get your fear test pretty often.
Yeah, if you're going for playing with the fear leadership, like if you're going for the leadership bomb, that would be something you could definitely do. It would consistently make weapon skill 1.
It makes her a bit tankier because they're now hitting her on 5s instead of the 4s.
It makes her unit a bit tankier. She's still almost guaranteed to die.
Yeah, she doesn't have anything for defense.
And that is the cheapest upgrade they have.
Yeah, cheapest upgrade. The next one is actually twice as expensive as the cheapest, and it just keeps going up from there. Rune of Cain. This model has D3 attacks, D3 extra attacks.
D3 extra attacks.
Yeah. Roll each round of combat immediately before the model attacks. So D3 extra attacks. She's strength 4.
Yeah, she's strength 4, and she's frenzy and a witch elf with additional hand weapons. So
Yeah.
she's got like 4 or 5 attacks base, so she could get up to like 8 or whatever. But she's still only strength 4.
Yeah.
I mean, the poison attacks, yeah. I mean, but
You could throw a magic weapon on her, but
she's probably gonna be in the middle of a witch elf unit anyway, so they have redundant attacks as it is.
yeah, it's just you don't really want to spend too much points because she's gonna die. She
Yeah.
can be attacked by everything.
She'll get her attacks first,
Yeah, she'll certainly attack first. Hope it was worth it.
or at least at the same time if the other person has it.
Last upgrade is Witch Brew. Model and all models in the same unit have the Frenzy special rule. If they already have the Frenzy special rule, that Frenzy gains +2 attacks instead of just 1. But the unit suffers a -3 penalty to leadership when testing not to declare charge.
Yeah, I am not a fan of frenzy at all.
You're going to be charging a lot of everything. With her leadership, she's leadership 9, but -3, 6s. 6 to not charge.
It's not too hard to get 10 though, so I mean, like you get 7s with rerolls and stuff like that, but still.
Yeah, I wouldn't take that one. There's there's another way you can get Frenzy, and that's with the Cauldron of Blood, which
Yeah,
you can ride.
does that stack with the other one?
It says they do not stack with each other.
Okay.
But if one gives Frenzy and then the other gives Frenzy, then they'll still give the +2 attacks. But Cauldron of Blood, this is the thing she can ride. It is a Toughness 6 chariot with 5 wounds, so that alone makes it pretty damn good.
It's a Toughness 6 chariot with 5 wounds and a 4+ ward. That's what makes it good. That is Black Coach territory with a better wound.
Yeah, and it's...
With an additional wound.
Yeah, always strikes first, Frenzy, Hatred, High Elves. Yeah, Hatred, High Elves, we forgot to mention that.
The entire army, yeah, that is one thing that both the Elves and the Dark Elves have in common, is they both hate each other. The entire army.
It is a large target, so no cover if you want to shoot at this thing. Even when it's in a unit, it's often going to be parked in a unit. Magic Resistance 1, so it'll give you that nice little extra ward save against magic.
Yeah, so you'd actually have a 3+ ward against magic.
And poison attacks. Basically, everything this thing has for attacks is because the Witch Elves on top of it have the Frenzy, the poison attacks, blah, blah, blah. It also causes terror, so you can have impact hits and terror on your whatever you decide to park this in.
Yeah, because as a chariot, it's got a special rule called Will of the Gods that allows it to march and join units.
Yeah, pretty much. It allows it to march and join units, but it is still a chariot in any other way.
Yeah, in any other way, is that including terrain? I believe so.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
doesn't
for
say anything
dangerous
against
terrain and all that stuff. So you will still get your impact hits and all that.
Yeah, so first thing it has passively is the Blood Shield of Cain. Cauldron of Blood has a 4+ ward save. Witch Elves, Hags, and Death Hags, including Helibron, who is the Witch Hag.
The named Witch Elf.
Yeah. In the same unit or mounted on it have a 5+. So they don't get the 4+, but they still have 5+ for the entire unit if it's in Witch Elf.
So in order to take the Cauldron of Blood, you have to have a Death Hag on top of it. So taking this is like the only way of giving her a ward, because she can't take anything but magical weapons.
Yeah.
So it will at least give her a 5+ ward. She's still gonna die.
And all other models in the same unit have a 6+ ward save. So if you decide to put this in like Corsairs or whatever you want, then they'll have a 6+ ward.
That's all models that are not Witch Elves. This is what we are talking about with the Witch Elves going to be very popular because people love them 5+ wards. 5+ wards are good. I like them. But for me, they're pretty standard. And honestly, Savage Orcs get the same amount of attacks as Witch Elves while having higher strength.
2 extra strength on top of that.
Yeah, while having higher strength, no poison attacks, but they're significantly cheaper.
Yeah.
And better toughness. And you can get that 5+ ward with a shrunken head.
Yeah.
It's
And
it's harder to remove the 5+ ward from the Cauldron of Blood because the Cauldron of Blood's super tough. But at least you can shoot it from outside of the unit.
Yeah, and it still has that ward save, but it has a bounce spell. It's the Fury of Cain. It's a power level 3 bounce spell. It's an augment that targets a single unit. It's Frenzy again, and if they already have Frenzy, it's +2 attacks.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it does. But it targets anything within a single unit within 12 inches.
So if they had Frenzy, and then they had the +2 attacks from the Witch Brew, and then this was cast on them, would they get an additional attack?
No.
No, it's just the +2?
It was just if they already have Frenzy, and this just gives Frenzy. So yeah, if they didn't have Frenzy, they lost combat or something, you could still stack these two, and they would have the +2 attacks.
Right. Yeah. This thing, and then there's the other special rule.
Yeah, the other thing. This is what makes this amazing.
It makes it a must-take.
Friendly models with the murderous prowess, every elf in the army, special rule, in units within 6 inches, so anything within 6 inches of the cauldron, reroll all failed to wound. All failed to wound.
Yeah, this is very likely, we think it will very likely get errated out to only be close combat attacks that you'll get to reroll the wounds in. At the moment, that is not the case.
Yeah,
so,
you can have your wizard re-rolling wounds on magic missiles, your archers, your bolt throwers, whatever you want.
So absolutely expect to see this in every single Dark Elf army because it is going to be so good.
And that's why, since the Death Hag is going to die anyway, you just put her on top of this thing naked and you run around with this thing.
Yeah, because you will still get that reroll even when the Death Hag dies. Does the Death Hag need to be alive to cast the bounce spell?
No, it's just an innate bounce spell. It's part of the cauldron.
Okay, so...
you don't need the Death Hag for any reason.
She is merely a price of admission.
Pretty much.
Yeah, the thing
She's the ticket to buy the cauldron.
Yeah, the thing is nearly 300 points to take, but you will still always see it in any army that can afford it in their hero slot. It's just... Yeah, you take... Any army is buffed by... Any kind of army is buffed by this cauldron. If you were to take an army like I would take, which would be like 4 Repeater Reaper bolt throwers and 2 units of 20 repeater crossbows, and then you just park it near there, and then just provide protection for your archers.
It doesn't need to be in a unit. It just parks there and has them reroll wounds.
It parks there, and it makes every single one of them reroll wounds, and it's just take the lower shadow, reduce something's toughness, and just laugh.
Next up, we have assassins.
Yes. They work in the same way as Skaven assassins do, in that they hide in units.
Yeah, they hide in a unit, and you can choose to pop them out at the beginning of your movement phase or at the beginning of either combat phase.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he's initiative 10 with the always strikes first. He's always re-rolling.
Yeah, against everything, even greater demons.
Can't use his leadership, which is common with assassins.
Yeah.
Because he's a hero. He's not too expensive, but he has 3 different...
Why did they bother saying he can't use his leadership when he's the exact same leadership as everybody else?
Yeah, he's actually leadership 8. He's the same as their infantry.
Yeah,
their basic infantry.
What are his stats there? He's probably got a boatload of weapon skill.
Yeah, he's got weapon skill 9. Yeah, he's going to be hitting.
Weapon skill 9, ballistic skill 9.
He has poison attacks.
Yeah, strength of 4, base, and initiative 10 with the 3 attacks.
And he has poison attacks, and he can also use forbidden poisons upgrades, which are kind of nice. They are not expensive at all.
And that's, you choose one, right?
Yeah, you get to choose one for this guy if you decide to pay for one. First one, for each unsaved wound a character suffers from a model equipped with Black Lotus, it's called Black Lotus, that character suffers a -1 penalty to their leadership for the rest of the game.
It's another leadership bombing ability.
Yeah, it's like, for each unsaved wound, they get -1 leadership. It's
only useful on multi-wound models.
Pretty much. And next one is Dark Venom. A model with Dark Venom has the Killing Blow special rule. This is better. It's kind of counterproductive with poison attacks that he has, but still.
He's only strength 4. He needs something.
Yeah, he definitely needs that Killing Blow. Last one is Manbane. A model with Manbane receives a +1 bonus on all rolls to wound.
Yeah, that one's not too bad.
Yeah, one still fails, obviously.
Yeah, so the +1 to wound is better against stuff that's immune to Killing Blow, because Killing Blow is useless against a lot of things, like monsters cavalry, monsters infantry. Against ogres, it's like, oh, I have Killing Blow.
And they're both actually the same points cost, so yeah, depend what armor you're facing.
Yeah, it depends on what weapon you're gonna give him, because you gotta give him something to make up for his strength 4, and the fact that he gets the poison attacks.
Yeah.
So you could probably just give him like an armor ignoring sword. Yeah. And that would probably be good enough.
Yeah, he can take 50 points of magic items, so there's that.
Yeah.
He can also take a repeater hand blow, and he has...
ballistic skill 9.
Ballistic skill 9, so he's pretty much always hitting.
I think with poison attacks, he will poison range attack as well.
Yeah, so he already has poison attacks, and Killing Blow is just, he gives the Killing Blow special rule, so that means on his ranged attacks, he also has Killing Blow. He has throwing weapons too, but it's 6
range. Yeah, they come with throwing weapons.
Yeah.
Which will be at his base strength, I think, so that would be 4. So,
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it's there.
The thing about him, though, he's not that much more expensive than your base heroes. He doesn't have that much in the way more of attacks, but the weapon skill and initiative are just, like, through the roof. And you can hide him in a unit of archers just to piss people off. But
yeah, hide him in those shades with the great weapons.
Yeah, compared to the Skaven assassins cost more. They do, and their stats aren't quite as stacked up, but they have a free 4+ ward.
Yeah.
He has nothing defensively.
He has nothing defensively. You can give him defensive items with the 50 points.
Does he come with additional hand weapon?
You have to pay for it.
Okay.
It's cheap, but you have to pay for it.
Well, at least then, like, you're not paying the extra points if you give him a magical weapon.
Yeah.
For the additional hand weapon that you're not using. But yeah, only 3 attacks. I mean,
yeah. So I like it. It's a possibility.
Yeah, he's not useless. I prefer the Skaven version, but he's not useless.
He will likely kill, especially if you give him Killing Blow, he will likely kill some sort of infantry lord or hero if you really want him to.
Yeah, it depends where you hide him, because one of the best uses for assassins is to hide them in non-combat units, so when they get charged by something like a giant, then you show up with your assassin, and it's just like, well, I wasn't expecting that.
I wasn't expecting that at all.
Yeah, I've seen that happen, whereas a unit of repeater crossbows got charged by a giant. The assassin showed up, killed the giant before the giant could even attack, and then the giant fell on the unit.
We're back to square one.
Yeah.
And that's it for none-named heroes.
Yeah, well, for the heroes and then on to the lords.
Yeah, are we going to do special heroes?
We'll do that when we get after the lords, because these are all the non-named. There are some tournaments that won't allow you to use named characters.
Alright, so we'll just start with a Dreadlord, because it's just your base elf.
Yeah, base elf.
Base elf lord.
Sea Dragon Cloak. He's now, he's still leadership, he's leadership 10?
Yeah, he's leadership 10.
Yeah.
He's the same thing as the master. He has a
Initiative 8.
He has one more attack.
And weapon skill 7.
Yeah, and one more initiative and weapon skill.
100 points of magic items, your standard lord.
Yeah, except biggest difference between them is that he can ride a black dragon for a
Yeah,
lot of points.
a lot. Holy shit.
Might as well go for the black dragon here. But yeah, black dragons they're unique. I'm not a huge fan of their breath weapon compared to some.
They're dragons.
Yeah, so black dragon, it's pretty much 6 across the board.
He's got poisonous breath, right? That's his thing?
Yeah, it's a black dragon has a strength 4 breath weapon. All models in a unit that suffered 1 or more casualties suffer -1 penalty to their weapon skill and ballistic skill until the end of the turn. Following turn.
Yeah, and what's his initiative?
His initiative is 3.
Oh. Well, that's not so good.
Yeah, so he's pretty much 6s, movement, weapon skill, strength, toughness, wounds, and then he's got 5 attacks, which isn't bad.
Yeah, he's strength 6 times 6. What's his skill he's getting? 3+? Yeah, that's not too bad.
The dragon itself actually has hatred of high elves.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, fly, hatred, high elves. It's a large target. Scaly skin 3+, which isn't too bad.
Too bad it doesn't have ASF. Oh, he shakes first dragon.
That would be amazing. But yeah, it's too many points, honestly. It's not bad, but it's a dragon. If you really want a dragon, that's the place to put it, pretty much.
Yeah, and if you did put a lord on a dragon and gave him all his magic items, that's all you're in. That's it. You're done for lords. You can't fit anything else in there. But that's pretty standard. I mean, if you're gonna take a dragon, it's your entire lord allotment.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
and moving on to the Supreme Sorceress.
Yeah, level 3 to level 4.
Yeah, it's your level 4 wizard.
Yeah,
they're pretty much doesn't need any explaining there.
Yeah.
It's your level 4 wizard.
All 8 lords, 100 points of magic items, and then they have a Beastmaster.
The High Beastmaster. So it looks at first glance extremely expensive for what it is.
Your most expensive base hero.
But it gets a Manticore or the Scourge Runner Chariot, which we went over really sucks, for free.
And that's, like, the thing about the Beastmaster is if you didn't have to take one of those two things, like, what else can you ride? Can you ride anything? Yeah, that's it.
That is it.
So he has to take a Manticore or a Scourge Chariot, which neither of those I like, and he has to take them. Other than that, if you could not ride him, like, if you could not ride one of those, he's got a decent ability. Like, he's got a passive ability that actually works really well with the army.
He's got a rule called Beast Slaver. It is a monster. He can designate one monster within 6 inches, and he gives them plus D3 attacks.
Yeah.
Which is okay.
Which is, like, if you weren't paying for the shit
if you weren't paying a lot for this guy?
If you weren't paying for the shit that he's riding, I would actually recommend taking him. He's taking 100 points magic items, right?
Yeah, he can take the 100
so
points.
So there would actually be a point of taking him, because he's pretty much a standard lord. I mean, he's got 3 attacks, so 1 less than your average lord. He's, toughness 3 elf with 3 wounds. He's weapon skill 7, strength 4. So the only thing about, and he's leadership 9. So he's 1 less leadership and 1 less attack. He's pretty much got hero stats for a lord, but he has to ride those Manticores, and he has that special rule.
He does have the light armor on the Sea Dragon Cloak, so he'll have a 3 up because he's mounted.
Can you improve that?
No. Unless you use magic items.
Yeah, light armor, lost. You can buy him at heavy armor, but still.
Yeah, he pretty much can't take any options. It's the mounts and then magic items.
Yeah, I mean, it's
he's
pretty
equipped
much
with a spear, and that's what you get unless you get a magic item.
It's pretty much only for people that like that Manticore model and actually still bought it. Or like Manticores. I'm not a fan. So.
Yeah. Next one is weird. It's the Black Ark Fleet Master.
Right.
It's a Corsair Lord. Pretty much.
And this is the lord that can only take a hero allotment of magic items.
Yeah, he's a lord, and he can only take 50 points of magic items. He's not extremely expensive. He's only a little bit more than the Dreadlord.
And he's got hero stats. He's got weapon skill 6, initiative 7, and 3 attacks.
Yeah, so you're paying too much for a hero.
Yeah, that is a lot of points.
Yeah, it's pretty much...
It's double.
It's a double cost hero.
It's more than double.
He has a special rule, though.
He's got the extra wound.
Where if you win a challenge, basically if you survive a challenge on this guy, if you challenge and survive, don't die immediately, your unit gets unbreakable.
Yeah, if what's his name? If the Fleet Master is in a challenge or has won a challenge during that combat round, your unit is unbreakable.
Yeah.
So it's a challenge hero, but they specifically made it so that it's a challenge lord that can't get all of the lord goodies.
Yeah, like he can only take 50 points of magic items, so that kind of rules him out of a 1+ armor
and
save at all.
It rules him out of their best.
He literally has no options. Lord. Like it's just him here, his stats, and then options magic items up to 50 points. And he has a 4+ armor save and 2 hand weapons. That is it.
Yeah.
So, not recommended.
No, not really. I mean, like, you might be able to do something with him, but with him costing twice as much as, like, a hero with the same stats, it's...
Yeah, if you really want Unbreakable and it's permanent, hell, get the 100-point banner!
Yeah. It would actually...
You're paying less!
Yeah, almost, pretty much, yeah. And it would be more reliable.
Yeah, and it's permanent. It's not just for that round. So, yeah. It's,
You could take the Black Dragon Egg to make him, like, a nasty close combat guy, or at least a nasty challenge guy for 1 turn. But then your unit's only unbreakable for 1 turn.
Yeah, so that's that. That is all the regular things. So we can go on to named guys now.
Yeah.